Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today I thought we'd have a look at this. What we've got here is a Philips CDI player. Now this came to me through my mate Andy over at Vintage Electronics Repair, and it came to him through the same source as that Sony C20 Betamax machine that we had a look at in a previous video. Namely come through a bloke named Mildred, who had a shed full of loads of stuff like this, and on the outside actually it seems to be in a lot better condition than that Sony Betamax that we had a look at until I turn it round. If you have a look at this again, this is not going to be a repair or a restoration video, it's too far gone, but check that out for some rust. That is rusty. Now, Andy's already said he did actually, even in this condition, he did actually try putting power up to it, and the unit is 100% completely dead. It's in an absolutely shocking state. Like I say, it's spent at least 10 years, probably over, in a leaky outside shed. It's basically killed it. But what I thought we'd do in this video is see if we can get inside it and just see how bad it is in there, see if there's any components. I do have a CDI myself actually. Mine is in, well, at least last time I powered it up it was in working order. I must admit I'll have to dig it out and see if it still is, because I've not powered it up in at least 5 years. It's in one of my storage spaces. But what I thought we'd do is, like I said, just see if there's anything that's worth salvaging out of this machine. Like I said, the machine isn't worth repairing. You've seen the amount of rust on the back of it, so I know this looks pretty good, but it's the outside plastic covering on the metal which is holding it together by the look of it. And certainly on the side here it's very bad. It's missing its front drawer there as well, but I mean that's nothing. Some of the rest of the plastics actually are okay on it, so maybe worth keeping for perhaps someone that's got one with a broken front or something like that. But let's crack inside it and see exactly how bad it is inside. Yeah, they use like strange, they use like a hex screw these, they don't use standard Phillips. But fortunately I've got a screwdriver here that does fit them. The other thing is I don't know whether we're going to get all the screws out or whether we're going to have to drill some of them, because like I said, it is in that bad a state. Well, it's 2 for 2 so far which have unscrewed. And even that, I mean, even that horrendously rusty one has actually come out okay. Oops. Stuck on the end of my screwdriver though. There we go. Right, let's get round the back, see what state they are in the back. Got one there. Again, it has actually... In fact, let me bring my light a bit closer. I don't think you're actually seeing on the camera quite how rusty the back of this is. It's a bit like that other video I did on the Betamax. There you go. Does that give you an idea quite how rusty the back of this thing is? Oh, when I get my new workshop and I've got some proper lighting, that should really improve some of these videos. This is a bit of a struggle in this small office here, really. Hopefully next week I'm getting a load of building blocks delivered, so that project should make a bit of a start. Right, that's all the ones out the back I think we need to get out. It does actually have its digital video cartridge, which was an add-on. It was an extra, but it was a bit of I mean, these machines were very expensive. And without that cartridge you couldn't play back digital video. It was just basically like a basic computer kind of thing. Without that you could play games and stuff on it. To actually play back video you needed that extra cartridge, and that was like expensive. It was like I think nearly £200 or something like that for that extra add-on. We've got 2 more screws here, and they actually look the least rusty of the lot. Yeah, there I'm doing okay. I'm going to have to vacuum and clean my whole desk and everything after I finish this. It's shedding rust absolutely everywhere. last screw. Out it comes. Right, let's see if we can get this off and then have a look at the horrors inside it. Ah, there we go. Oh, that's grim. Yeah, and there we go. I'll put the light back up on top so it shines down so perhaps you can see a bit. See a bit better. There we go. I really don't think there's going to be very... Oh, the board doesn't look too bad actually. The main board looks okay. The main board looks fine, it's just really the case is completely gone. Let's have a look round. Because Andy said that he did try powering it up and it wouldn't power up, so... It's been a home to spiders over the years by the look of... Let me open this bag and see if I can scrape some of this cobweb out. Because it looks like it's been home to spiders for a very long time. See if we can scrape some of this spider's web out. Yeah. The board itself actually doesn't look in too bad a nick. The fuse down there, that doesn't look blown. I wonder if the switch has gone and that's why it weren't powering up when Andy was trying it. Because that switch looks rusty as hell. The rest of the, I mean, it's covered in dust and rust, but the board itself doesn't look horrendous. Again, it's the same as with that Betamax. Basically, I've had this thing sat in an airing cupboard for a couple of weeks because it was. This one wasn't really wet, like I say, because Andy had this in his house, but it was dampish. Like I say, I just stuck it with the Betamax in an airing cupboard for a couple of weeks to let it really dry out. And I mean, it's perfectly bone dry now. But yeah, it's in a bit of a state. I'm just really curious to see whether the thing actually would power up at all. And I'm wondering if the reason when Andy gave it a try it didn't actually power up is that just that switch doesn't feel very switchy, if you know what I mean. I think that switch has probably got water in it at some point. It's probably gummed all the contacts up inside it. It wouldn't be too hard just to bypass that, would it? Let's have a think. Let's see if it'll, what happens if I put some power up, see if it'll power up. So I know, like I'm saying, Andy has said he has already tried plugging it in and it did absolutely nothing, so it didn't go pop or bang on him apparently. I'm just trying to get basically anything that could short a power line out, like some of these flakes of rust. I'm just trying to blow them out from the actual power supply section. Transformer looks alright. My desk is absolutely filthy now. Let me just see if I can just clean my desk up a bit. Get some of these rust particles off it. This is... I don't know if you could call this electronics or archaeology. Right, I've got a figure of 8. Where's the figure of 8? I must have a figure of 8. I'm sure I've just seen a figure of 8 about somewhere. And where's it gone? Just bear with me a second, folks, just while I'm sure I'd spotted a figure. Ah! There we go. Figure of 8 cable. So we'll put that in there, plug it in. In fact, let's just check that fuse, make sure that fuse is good. see if there's any life in that fuse. You stay there. Right. On that side, on that side. Yeah, the fuse is good. Right. Yeah, let's just plug it in and see what happens. But the fuse is alright. Plug that in there. This is almost like one of Shango's videos, isn't it? Right, let's unplug that. Let's plug it in and see if we're getting a magic smoke. No magic smoke. What the hell? Well, the CD span up then. So it's not completely dead. We've got absolutely nothing on the display there, but the CD actually did spin up. It did then. Open close does absolutely nothing. The switch mustn't be completely dead. And yeah, it's definitely spinning the CD up. So we're getting some life out of it. That's quite interesting. We've got absolutely nothing coming up on that display. That could just mean that the display's shot. I wonder if we connect it up to the TV and see if we actually get anything up on screen. We've got cause it's got standard. I'll unplug it while I'm messing with it. I don't fancy touching it while it's plugged in. It's got standard composite video out. So what's this cable from the end of this? Oh, that's Super Nintendo. I'll get that out of the way. Well, let's see if we can find just straight phono-to-phono connect cable. We've got one kicking about in this drawer, and we'll see if we can get any. We'll see if we can get any life out of it. So I'm not holding up that much hope, but I weren't expecting, because like I said, Andy said it was pretty much dead, but he hadn't obviously taken the covering off it. No one's taken them off in many years, so he probably obviously wouldn't be able to see the thing spin up like that. Well, I can't find one just here. Just bear with me a minute. I'll just pause the video and I'll go see if I can find myself a phono-to-phono, and we'll get right back on it in a second. And we're back, and 10 minutes search and I actually found a bloody phono-to-phono cable. Right, let's get this. Oh, and if you hear any crashes of thunder, we've just had a bit of a thunder downpour, so there we go again. So I think we may end up with a bit of oops. Sorry if I'm getting in shot here. Let's just get that plugged in. There we are. I don't think we'll bother with audio or anything like that. I just want to see if we get anything on screen. So we'll plug that into the video out. Let's get the TV onto the right channel. Where's the remote for the TV gone? Oh bloody hell, where's that gone now? Where's the TV remote gone? Right, hang on. See if we can remember how to do it with the controls on the top. AV1, I think that's the right one. I'll give it some power. No. Yeah, it's AV2. I don't like we're getting a video out of it. Well, like I said, I'm not sure which it's which. going to be AV1 or AV2, I think. Yeah, because then we're on to PC. Nothing there. Pretty sure it's AV2 actually. Oh. Let's try switching that off again. No, I really do think, like I say, it's pretty well dead. I'll just disconnect the power from it. So we know we're getting power to it. The whole of that connector could have corroded out. Actually, like I say, it's that rusty. It's that In fact, let's just give this a quick try. I've got some switch cleaner here. I've got a straw for it. Yeah. I'll just give it a quick blast with some contact cleaner in the. Let's have a quick look at the digital video cartridge. It's like rusted into position, I think. There we go. So even this hasn't gone unscathed. As you can see the corrosion on it. The bottom's not bad, and the where it actually connects in's okay. The pins are actually in decent enough condition, but it's obviously had water like literally pouring through it by the look of it. So I'm surprised that there's even any sign of life at all from this thing. Give that a quick squirt of that in there, just to see if there's any chance of getting anything out of it. So I'm not going to pursue this thing. It really is beyond it's beyond servicing or getting back into a working order. Really, I just thought we'd have a bit of fun, see if we could get anything out of it. So, well, we've got a black screen then. Let's see if we can get it to do that again. It'd be really, if we could get a Philips CDI logo up on there, I'd be absolutely amazed. But I can hear it's definitely trying to seek. We'll go to a black screen there, and then it seems to give out at that. Let's whip the front off and have a quick look, see if we can see anything. So I think this is probably one of the only parts of the case which is worth doing anything with. The front's filthy, but it's actually not in damaged condition at all. I know that the lasers, I think, are virtually unobtainable for these now. So if the laser unit's okay, that would be worth keeping. In fact, the whole drive mechanism might be worth keeping as a spare part. You never know. So we can get the front off. Is there any screws underneath? This is where we might have problems if there's lots of screws underneath, because they'll be very, very corroded. No, I can't see any screws under there. It just seems to clip in. Let's see if we can winkle the front off. I can't see any clips. Oh, we just switched it back on again then. We just seem to get that blank screen up. Let me unplug it while I try and get this front off. Well, the black screen up's more than we were getting before. I wonder if we plug the cart back in. The visual digital. I don't know if it needs. No, it shouldn't need that to actually operate, should it? Because that was an optional extra, unless there was something else you unplugged to plug that in. But I don't think there was. I'm just hoping this front had come free at that. Have a look on the bottom, see if we're missing anything. This is a problem. Every time I move the thing round, it's just leaving showers of rust everywhere. So you can see quite how bad it really is. This might be the first one that doesn't undo. Oh bloody hell! It has done. Right. I've got that out. Brush my desk off with bits of CDI again. So I was hoping that I'd just release at that, but it's not. Let me see if I can find a flat blade screwdriver and see if I can persuade it. There we go. Bit of persuasion. Get some of that rust. It's the rust glue in the. There we go. It's the rust glue in the front on. I can get this free now, I think. I'm trying. There we go. I'm trying not to break the front because the front doesn't look in bad nick and it might actually be used to someone. And there's nothing else in there. I was hoping that you'd be able to get all over my desk. What's that? Oh, that's the button. And corrosion's got into the front there. That might go again. Let's see if we can get this front panel out. So we're getting no display at all on the front. Let's disconnect it. Ooh. I'm a bit worried that the connector in here will actually just break off the board. So I suppose it matters if it did, but let's see if we can get it out and then we can have a look at the front. It's got a, there we go, bend that away, I should be able to get, there we are, we're out. We might be able to even plug that back in. Right. Now those, that's the input. I think that's for our second joystick, isn't it? That one at the front there. And they go off to another connector there. So you can disconnect that. I'll put it up that side. Let's try that side. Walk this connector out. There we are. We've got the front anyway. We've got the front off. Let's push that back to one side. We'll have a quick look at the front. Can you see the amount of rust that's building up on my desk? Right, let's have a look at the board. I just want to see what type of display it uses. let's have a look. So we've got a VFD on there, vacuum fluorescent display. I thought the CDI used something like that, because it would have either used LCD or a VFD back then. This is a VFD. What were these? Mid 90s, were it? About 94 I think these came out. Was it about 94? There's actually very little on there. We've got a couple of diodes down there. The VFD display. There might be a driver IC, yes, I think there's a driver IC under there for it as well. Looks like the driver IC, yeah, the driver IC is right underneath. And somewhere on the board, not on this board, there'll be a little DC to DC step-up converter to provide the high voltage that thing needs to run. I think it's about between 90 and 150 volts or something DC you need on them, because it's basically a valve. Basically like a cathode ray tube. Very similar technology anyway. While I've got it out, I might just give the buttons a quick work them. Very little in the way of controls on it. We've got what, a play, a stop and an eject button. I think that's about it on the main panel there. Stick it back in. Put this back together. I'll give the contacts there a quick clean up, and we'll see if we can get anything to come on. So I think the black screen that we're getting is as far as we're going to go with this thing. It's just in such a bad state. But it looks like there might be some parts that are worth keeping from it. So I'll probably take the main board out and find a box for it and put that in a box, and the front panel here. Power supply is obviously good, or at least the transformer is obviously good, because that's powering up. That's the wrong hole, I think. That's definitely the wrong hole. Let's try that one there. That feels okay. Back when things were put together with screws. Okay, the strange star drive screws, but they're actually proper screws. It's not just got a load of plastic clips holding every board in. You can sometimes, you can age things by the fact that how well are they made. Have they actually got screws holding them together, or is it just a load of clips? I'll stick the front. I'm not going to screw it back together because so I'll probably strip this thing down. Just keep the bits that are worth keeping, but we'll plug this back in and see if we can get anything on the screen more than a black screen. I'm sure it should just come up with like a Philips CDI splash screen, even if you haven't got a disc in or anything, you like with an insert media kind of thing on it. I don't know why I'm plugging that back in because we haven't got another controller, but see if I can scrape a few more of these rusty cobwebs off the board, because I'm sure they've been shorting out something. Basically, well, we've got a mixture of like rust and cobwebs that have all stuck together, so you've got conductive cobwebs. Right, let's give that a final see and see if we get anything to come up. Put some power back up. Where's the power connector? There it is. Oh, and I haven't put the what's it back in, have I, Dan? Put the front back off. Put the switch back on. Oh bugger it, I'll just leave it on top like that. But no, we've still not got anything coming up on the display. Wonder if it'll eject now. In fact, we've not got anything coming, even it coming with that black screen anymore. Something's died. Oh, hang on. Did it do it then? Let's come up with the black screen again. But it looks like that's the most we'll get it to do. It's not trying to eject the tray. None of the buttons are doing anything. We're not getting anything on the display at all. That's completely dead. And every now and again it will go to a black. So at least something in there is working. It's producing a blank video signal, but it's not. So it's not going any further. If I put a CD in it, whether it'd at least try and spin the CD up. Have I got a music CD kicking about here? They should be able to play a music CD. Have a quick. I think I had one kicking about on here, didn't I? I found in an old laptop the other day. What have I done with it? And it weren't anything that I cared about. It was some drivel, so it wouldn't matter if it destroyed it. I wonder where that's gone. Oh, that's annoying. I put that away to keep as just as a test CD for obvious players. Didn't want to play a CD that it could scratch. I wonder what I've done with it. No, that's a button. Yeah, otherwise we could have tried putting that. We could have tried putting that in it and see what it did. I wonder what I've done with that. This is the problem with getting old. You forget things. You forget them far too. Often as well. Can't be bothered going getting a CD. Put a disc in and see if I've got a disc that doesn't matter. See, that would have been alright because it was a music CD, so it would have actually tried to recognise it and play it, but. No, it's gone. Oh well, never mind. Have we got any other discs I could just stick in it? It's like with that bloody phono to phono cable before. Usually there's loads lying around, and then as soon as you actually want one in a hurry, you can't find the bloody things. It's typical that, isn't it? Just bloody typical that. No, I can't even think where to start looking for another one. Oh, never mind. Anyway, I thought, like I say, it's a bit moot point anyway, because I don't think the thing's going to do anything. Although I did see it trying. The laser's definitely at least somewhere active there, because you can see it seeking up and down when you power the unit up and down. You can actually watch the laser move up and down like it's seeking, looking for the disc. So that, I mean, I'm really annoyed I can't find what happened to that music. In fact, just 1 second. Let me just pause the. Oh, hang on, it's there. Ooh, yeah. What have we got? I haven't a clue, but let's. We can pull the tray out, can't we? Oh, could do before, can't do now for some reason. Oh yeah, there we go. So we can just see if it'll spin this disc up. There we go, put that disc in. Yeah, it's spun the disc up. Is that reading that? You know what? I think that's actually reading that music disc. Let's try to do something on screen by the look of it as well. The screen's actually... There we go. Might just go back, yeah, just going back to a screen, but... That appears to be trying to read that disc. Actually just spun up as though it's... Yeah, it's definitely trying to do something. Anyway, it's stopped now. I wonder if and all the controls are dead on this thing. But it's interesting that it actually did attempt to try and play the disc. Let's power cycle it again and see if it does the same thing. Yeah. So I think if nothing else, we might have a good CD unit in this thing, even despite the state of it. It's definitely trying to read that disc by the look of it. It's interesting that it looks like it's trying to display something as well, but obviously it's failing. It's a shame that it's in such a bad state. If it didn't have all this corrosion on it, I would consider seeing if I could get the thing into good working order. But you've seen the state of it. It's beyond. It is honestly beyond trying to actually repair, unfortunately. But it should allow a few more CDIs to live. There's going to be loads of useful parts in this that we can save to keep some other Philips CDIs up in running order. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any point in trying to get this thing into back up into full working order. So I'm just amazed it's even like trying to spin a disc up, and it does look like it is actually trying to read that audio CD. I wonder if it's getting any audio out. I've got phono out on this. If I can get the phono back out of that phono connector on the back. Let's see if it is playing in the audio. I doubt it. There's audio. No. No, we're not actually getting any audio or anything out of it, but it's definitely spinning that disc. Oh, we've got that's the left hand channel, the other was the right hand channel. So yeah, that's not happy, is it? Let's have a see if that comes on from power up. Yeah, something's not happy there in the audio section, is it? Definitely not. So we've got absolutely no controls working. The audio's obviously completely, but with no nasty noise on that side. Just on the left hand side. Let's stop that now. Right, I think we've pretty much had our fun with this thing now. But like I've said, there are most people I think would just send this thing straight to landfill. But there are some useful parts on it. We have got the digital video cartridge there. Which I can't actually remember whether my CDI's got one of these in it or not. I'll have to go and check. But we have got the digital video cartridge. obviously that front panel's going to be worth keeping, because although it's absolutely filthy, it will clean up nicely, and if one's broken on the system, there's a good front panel there. Again, with the laser unit, like I said, I can't prove that that is working, but it's more functional than I actually expected it was going to be, so that'll be kept. The power supply will obviously be kept, because that seems to be at least in reasonable working order. And we'll pull the main board out of it. In fact, let's seeing we know we're not going to be repairing this thing, let's go and have a look at the main board while we're at it, shall we? Let's disconnect the power. We'll get that out of the way. So that's a piece that we'll be keeping, and I'll make a box up after this video of all the bits that are worth keeping. In fact, sod it, let's do this as a teardown now. Because we know the switch is good, we'll keep that. I really just want the metal work out of the way so it's not shedding metal flakes everywhere every time I handle it and pick it up. Let's get that out of the way. It's just going to be a case of seeing as how many screws will actually, how many screws will undo. So far we've actually done really well, considering how corroded they've been. They have all undone. We've not had any snap yet. So those are free now. Get that disconnected from there. I've got one that side. One that side. This one might be the first one that refuses. Yeah, that's just rounded right off as soon as I've tried to undo it. Let's see if we can get it with some side snips. That one is going to be, that might have to be Dremelled. Let's see how far else we can go. This is where the problem lies, you see, because all these are, we need to get all these out to basically get the board out and everything, and they've gone. There's nothing left of the heads of them. They're just spinning. Yeah, unfortunate. That one's undoing. That's off the okay, that's, but it's got one fitted. That's the top off the CD unit there. That's a spare one rattling around inside. So it's obviously had a replacement drive unit at some point, by the look of it. We've got that bit free. Let's see if we can get the CD drive unit out, because that's something we want to try and keep. But the problem is, I don't know how we're going to get these screws out. Yeah, we're going to have the problem that these are all so rusty. That one's undoing. That one's out. But the one on this side is no, the top of it's just rounded off, unfortunately. So I've got a slightly different bit that I could jam in there. That's a possibility. Let's have a quick look. Sometimes if if it's worn and it's rusted out a bit, if you get the one size bigger and you kind of squash it down there, you can get the one size bigger to fit. Ah, there we go. And actually undo. There we go. Right. What else have we got holding this in? Must be another screw or something holding it, because then bottom stands are off. There's something at the front. Or is it just sat down on the... Ah. We've got another fixing there. Yes, we have. Which I can't quite get my my tool into because of that metalwork there. What was that? We don't really care about the metalwork. I don't know if that's undoing. I don't have a problem with that one again. We're being thwarted by these screws, which are in a shocking state. That one's undoing. See if we can get any more of these out. See, we can get these ones out here. We can lift this carrier that takes the cartridge out, the video cartridge out. We can actually have a quick look at the main board and see what state it's in. Another one there. That's the one that I thought I'd stripped out, but like I said, I've used a slightly bigger star bit and it is actually undoing. Right. Take that one out. I'm actually quite impressed how many of these are actually undoing, considering how rusty they are. I must have... No, that one's bad. No, that one's definitely... no. One there. That's undoing. There's one next to the S-video connector so far which has refused to undo. These with that slightly bigger bit are actually all coming out. There we go. No, that one's not. Hopefully we can get this box out now though. Something's holding it still. Hopefully it's just rust. Something around there that's holding it. Right, let's see. Ah! That's the back out. I think it's that, although I'd expect that to be holding the S-video port, but everything else seems to be free apart from there, so I think that screw that was giving us issues is going to give us a real problem. So we've got something a bit bigger I can get hold of it with. Look at the state of my desk. No, I might have to just break it. We can't be too precious with this thing. It is There we go. It was just on some very rusty metal, so we can get that out of the way. There we are. At least we can have a look at the video board. Yeah, and there, hang on, what we can do, we'll I'll disconnect the power supply. We can get the power supply out. There we go. Let's see if we can get that power supply section out. That's a nice little power supply actually. Let's turn it. Yes. That's one. Again, linear power supplies in these, no switch mode, stuff. There we go, that's turning. That's out. A couple more on this side. Yeah, a couple more here. So one more. That's the transformer free. Couple of screws on this side, and hopefully we can get the power supply board out as well. So that'll be worth keeping. Smaller bit, I think, for them. That's one out. Might even keep some of the less rusty of the screws, because you never know when you get one in that's got a couple of screws missing. Obviously I won't keep the incredibly rusty ones from the back and what have you, but right, let's have a look at getting this power supply out. Okay, even this is being held in by rust now. Right, that's free. If we get it off these stands at the front, we should be able to just lift this power supply out. Squeeze them in and lift up. There we go. Same on this side. Squeeze in. Plastic things and lift up. There we go. And that's the full power supply section. Like I say, it's a little bit manky and it'll need a good clean, but that is probably a good power supply section. I'll do some more testing on that in the future. I'll get that out of the way. Let's see about getting this. Let's have a look at getting this CD drive out. Get that disconnected from the board now. 1, 2. Just that one fix in there that I'm having some issues with at the front. Making it rather difficult to get out. Let's have another look, see if we can get that through. So I can't. Ah, there they are. Yeah, they're sat really, really far down in them holes. That's the problem. I just don't think these are quite long enough to get down to where they need to get down and actually get into the hole. That's the problem. We've got another solution. Shut that up for now. Got some more screws on the front. Whiz them out. Hopefully this video isn't being too boring. Watching me dissect this thing. That's it, that's another screw out. Still having problems getting that. I was hoping I could get that, bend it forwards, and then we could actually have a look at getting the main board out. But it looks like it's going to fight us. That out of the way. That's got the back free. Right. That's that free. You can see how rotten this thing is. It just literally bends. Let's see if I can lift it up. There's a chance I can get to the underside of them fixings and get them out that way. There we go, like that. Ew, even more ick there. Just very gently disconnect the ribbon cable going to the laser assembly. So we don't want to try and break that. That might be useful to us. I think everything else is disconnected, so if we carefully bend the case forwards like that. Right. I think the only thing that's stopping us getting the board out now is that that screw at the front there, which holds the S-video connector on, which is completely corroded to bits, and I don't think it's going to cooperate coming out. But we might be able to break it out from the back, being that the case is so rusty. Yeah. The metal around it's so corroded, we should just be able to just break it out. Then we can deal with the bit of metal at a later date. There we go. I'm not even that bothered about the S-video connector, to be totally. Let's give that a try at turning now. That's a nice another thing. Sometimes when you give something a bit of grief, it will actually give up and it will actually start undoing. Yeah, let's try the other screwdriver bit. It's turning. No. It's actually nearly out. I think that will come out now. There we go, out. Right. Couple last screws, I think. Swap back to the other screwdriver a bit. So there's two sizes of these little star bits being used on these. There we go, we've got the main board out. And surprisingly, actually, the board's, you know, it's not corroded. It's not actually in bad condition. The board itself is not in bad condition. I mean, anything plastic like that will keep for the, at least for the time being. Last thing we need to see if we can do is see if we can get the get this drive mechanism out. And I might be able to do it now. I can get to the back of these fixings. No, what I can do though, now I can get access to them, I can get a Dremel and just Dremel through there, and then I can look at getting them bits off in at a later date. So we'll pull that out of the way for now. Like I said, there's no point in keeping that really, it's completely past doing anything with, as is the top case. I'll stick it over there for now. I'm going to spend an hour cleaning the floor in my office now, trying to get rid of getting rid of all the rubbish, all the corrosion. In fact, where's my little brush go? Yeah, literally everything around me now is covered in rust. Literally absolutely everything around me. I'm now going to have to spend a good amount of time just cleaning all this rust up. Where's my little brush gone? Just thought I'd brush it into a pile so you can actually see just exactly how much rust has come out of this thing. Can't find my little brush now. I only used it just before. Oh, this will do. We'll use this this notepad. We'll get the screws on one side there because they're not corrosion, are they? But and this is not including all which is now on my office floor, but this is why the thing is not worth pursuing any further than using it as a parts machine. But that's all, that's Philips CDI there. Corroded Philips CDI. Anyway, I'm going to leave this video here for now. Like I said, we knew from the start of this video that this was not going to be a restoration video or anything like that. It was literally too far gone. I'm actually even surprised that it fired up to the extent that it did do. But we've got a load of useful spare parts out of it, and at least we got to have a look at probably the worst Philips CDI player currently found in the UK. Thanks to my mate Andy for passing that over to me. If nothing else, at least it was a bit of fun. And like I said, there's some useful parts gleaned out of it. It was much better than it just going to landfill. That especially because these things are quite hard to get hold of, and I think they're quite sought after if you've not got one in your machine. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed this this little video. So thanks for watching and goodbye.